This is the support guidance film for the media analysis essay task that students are writing for students in Year 9 History at Plymstott School. The question set is, which is the better interpretation, Blackadder or Gallipoli, for a historian researching what life was like in the trenches during World War I? The focus of this particular piece of work is the skill of interpretation, and the different levels of attainment are listed here. Level 4, Level 5, Level 6, Level 7. As you read each of these descriptors, you can see the nature of the requirement change as the level of difficulty and challenges rises. Essentially, at Level 6 is where your average Year 9 student should be seeking to place their final piece of work. Can you explain why interpretations of World War I might change over time? Now, students for this might want to remind themselves of when these two interpretations were made and how far apart from the actual events that they're showing they were actually filmed. Your task in this is to answer the key question that we've just illustrated here at the top. Which is the better interpretation? Which one is the most useful, Blackadder or Gallipoli, for a historian wanting to find out what life was like in the trenches during World War I? You can present your work in a number of different ways. Firstly, it would be more than acceptable for students to actually present their work in the form of a table. In other words, take the notes that they've already put together from their worksheet and populate the table that we have here to illustrate what it is that you're talking about. Okay, so for example here we could deal in the first column here dealing with similarities. Secondly, we could deal with differences. And thirdly, we could arrive therefore at the conclusion which is the most useful and why. Students would then need to reach an overall conclusion which one is the most useful, why do they give different interpretations, and why do the interpretations change over time. And in answering these questions based upon the work that they've completed on the table will determine whether their outcome is level 4, 5 or 6 according to the initial table that we went through at the top. Can I request that if students use this option they should draw their table over a double page? Alternatively, what comes next is the essay writing alternative. Students could write an essay. Now, I would advocate students looking to advertise their ability to write at their highest possible standard should use the essay, as obviously working towards extended writing is the ultimate outcome of what we're trying to do here in history. Using this essay then, students should write the introduction. Give some idea about each of the sources. What type of source are they? What is the purpose of the source? Provide me with some kind of context. What exactly have you been doing in the work that you've been studying so far? One way in which you might start your essay is in this essay, I will. It isn't the way you have to start it, and I would be very grateful for variations on this theme. Please remember that the introduction is meant to serve as a plan. So in your introduction, tell me what it is that you've been doing, tell me what the task is that you've been asked to do, and if possible, tell me what your opinion is at the very start. You should know what you're writing about and know what your conclusion should be before you start. Please tell me what your paragraphs will be about. And as I said again, do you know what your conclusion would be? Do you already know which is the better interpretation? There is no harm informing me at the start, as long as your argument in your essay tells me why your choice is the right choice and why the alternative is not as strong. Your main paragraphs then, familiar to all of you in the way that you write using point, evidence and analysis. You should have 4 main paragraphs in your work. How the soldiers are portrayed, how the generals are portrayed, the realism of the setting, and the emotions created. Each paragraph should follow the PEA formula, or alternatively the PEEA formula, with more than one piece of evidence. If you do that, you're reaching for a level 5, and you can develop that further to include reliability for level 6, or PEEARL to consider reliability as well. Here are the headings that you need to consider as you work your way through to provide some more structure to eventually arrive at a conclusion at the end.